Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Laveld Agrochem. Saam boer ons vooruit. Hier sal jy boer. Hier sal jy boer.
Die begrip makro-ekonomiese omstandighede beteken iets heel anders vir Suid-Afrikaners. Hoe die internasionale markte vaar is net deel van ons bekommernis.
In ons geval is daar ook 'n klompie ander probleme wat ons te bowe wil kom. Die beskikbaarheid van elektrisiteit en water, die toestand van ons paaie, natuurlik sekuriteit, om net 'n paar te noem.
Maar ons weet boere maak planne. Hallo, ek is Philip Venter.
En ek is Koen Liebenberg. Vandag gesels ons oor tegnologie. Welkom by Nisboere.
In hierdie episode van Nisboere, ons fokus op tegnologie in landbou. Ons besoek Kokhuis, een van Suid-Afrika se grootste windplase, en gesels met die kenners. Plus, Nisboere ondersoek die rol van hommeltuie in presisieboerdery. En ons vind meer uit oor die oprigting van solarenergie vir boerderye. Hier is Corne en Philip.
Hallo julle en welkom by nog 'n aflewering van Nisboere. Kom kuier lekker saam met ons vandag. Maar voor ons afskop, Philip, ek sien nou onder die titel iets het verander. Is jy nou ek sien dis klaar vandag so 'n bietjie hoeserig. Was jy nou mediese dokter of wat gaan nou aan?
Nee, Corne, ek het my graad gekry in volhoubare landbou by die Vrystaat Universiteit. So nee, dis gelukkig nie 'n mediese dokter nie.
Jy's nie wel en ek weet Sweets kom nie maklik, dis harde werk, baie geluk was. Voorreg om nou die langste dokter te sit.
Baie dankie Corne, ek waardeer opreg wel.
Maar weet jy dit terug na vandag? Ja, waar is ons gesels?
Vandag gesels ons oor tegnologie, natuurlike broodnodige gesprek.
Ja.
Ons land is ongetwyfeld besig om bedreig te word deur die tekort aan elektrisiteit.
Beslis, ja, besoef eintlik iets verder daaroor te sê nie.
Ja.
Ons weet sonnekrag is aan die besighede en sonder besighede is aan die werkie en duidelik gaan dit nie van self regkom nie. So ek dink die vraag van vandag wees, wat kan ons doen om dit te help verbeter of te verander?
Een moontlike oplossing is die oprig van meer windplase. Maar hoe werk dit? Wat kos dit en hoeveel elektrisiteit word regtig gegenereer?
Om hierdie vrae te beantwoord het Nisboere na Kokhuis in die Oos-Kaap gereis, waar ons een van die land se grootste windplase aangetref word.
Kokhuis Wind Farm is situated 7 kilometers east of Kokhuis town in Blue Crane Route municipality in Eastern Cape. It's a span of about 2,600 hectares of pastoral land, and only a small percentage of this land is being used or occupied by the wind farm, which enables the farming activities around to take place as it's been done prior construction. It was the first project on round one of South African Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Procurement Program to connect on a transmission network. In total, when I'm adding them, we have approximately 35 employees on site, excluding the service contractors. We have 66 Suzlon S88 turbines with a hub height of 80 meter and with a blade of 40 meter long. Each turbine is producing something like 2.1 megawatts, and in total those megawatts goes to 138.6 megawatts. When installing the turbine are installed with the distance between them. This is to enable each turbine to get enough wind. So before we can install them, there's a research that is done to check the area that is having a concentrated quality of wind, and as per that, that's how we will install our turbines. The estimated or average energy that we produce per year is 384,000 megawatts, and that energy that we supply, it can supply about 94,000 of low-income homes, or it can supply 43,000 medium-income homes in South Africa. We connected to the national grid, which is managed by Eskom. So what happened is that as the turbines are generating the electricity, at the back of the nacelle, there is a generator. As the wind goes against the blades tend to turn and the rotor is turning the blades, of which the shaft and the gearbox within the nacelle, they increase the speed of the blades, and then that goes to the generator that is generating the electricity, and then it goes through the cables that is under the ground, and then we have part of the overhead line to transmit these voltages to the substation, so of which is how we get to connect to the grid. The wind farms plays a major component in securing the renewable energy within South Africa, and it also plays a vital component in energy industry. So with availability of the grid, I see more of the wind farm coming or getting constructed. I see the industry growing. There's a huge opportunity for the industry to grow.
Ons gesels nou met senior adviseur Santos. Hy is by die Suid-Afrikaanse Windenergie Assosiasie. Baie welkom Santos.
Thank you for having me.
Santos, let's please start at the beginning. Please tell us more about Nisboere. What do they do?
So Nisboere is, I don't like talking in abbreviations, so I'll just spell it out. It's the South African Wind Energy Association.
Yes.
So we are the only wind energy association in South Africa. Yeah. What do? We are a non-profit member-based association. Okay. We advocate for wind energy, we engage with different stakeholders. So usually those stakeholders involve different government departments, Eskom, presidency, the like, and other non-profit associations. Our duty is to advocate for wind energy, but also to come out with initiatives that promotes the growth of wind energy in South Africa, to assist our members with any issues they may be having, with engaging with different departments, with responding to different policies that may be instituted by the government, different regulatory issues, and to solve general issues that arise in the wind industry. So we get our members together and we collaborate to ensure that we form solutions to these problems and then take it out to the wider industry.
So who are your members?
Our members include the developers of the wind plants, the OEM manufacturers of the wind turbines, the IPPs who are actually operating these wind plants, skills developers, and a whole lot of other members in the value chain, okay. So logistics suppliers. What we are trying to do now is to make Nisboere more holistic. So we are trying to get more of the larger energy users on board in South Africa, and that obviously includes the agricultural sector.
But the question would be, is it cost effective?
Yes. So when wind energy started out in this country, a little over a decade ago now, and it's actually maturing, we knew the costs were high, but through the REAP program. So the REAP program is the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Program. So that's where the government procures energy from IPPs, independent power producers. Through that program over the years, which predominantly procures solar PV energy and wind energy. It varied throughout the years, but those are the main ones. The price has dropped. We had gotten the price down to around 60 cents, and municipalities charge anywhere from R1.20, R1.80.
Yeah, I heard a lot of farmers that can make available some of their land, especially if it's in the area of high wind. We didn't arrange it out to the service providers. What would be his next step to try and tap into that opportunity?
So what we are trying to do is to create a database of these different farms or potential farms that could come up. What happens is, in the process of developing a wind farm, there's a lot of different stages to it, but to simplify it a lot, you have your pre-feasibility, feasibility of the wind farm, then you look at permitting, funding, until implementation. These developers usually will contact the farmers as part of that feasibility process to say, okay, are the landowners actually willing to have this on their land? And can we sign an agreement to that effect? And they will have all of those agreements, and they might lease the land, they might buy the land from you. They will have those agreements in place before they ever decide to implement the plant. It's part of due diligence. You have to make sure that you're researching every aspect of this potential plant before you even start building. Because
it's expensive.
Exactly. Because when we're looking at who is actually going to fund these plants, who are the owners of these plants, there's a lot of different owners. I mean, what usually happens is you'll have a consortium of companies. So you'll have different companies coming together, forming a specialist project company to say, okay, we want to build this wind farm. All those different companies may consist of the OEM, so the turbine manufacturer themselves. It may consist of a local trust, so the people in the area that are putting money together to have part ownership of this land. You may have other private companies, investment funds, whoever the case may be, who are putting all this money together, forming one company to be able to build this plant. So when we're looking at the ownership, we know that a large part of the ownership is actually South African. On these going forward. And anyone who puts money into anything will want surety that it's done correctly. Right? So part of that is making sure that you do your due diligence. So we understand that although these plants are being built in these rural areas, it must be sustainable. We must not be hurting the environment. So we have these environmental impact assessments, environmental authorizations that are also approved by the department, done before the plant ever gets built.
Santos, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Many thanks.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to talk about this, and I think people realize how important farming is to South Africa, and anything we can do to help the farmers is going to only improve South Africa going forward.
That's great. Yeah, thanks a lot. Ons gaan nou 'n bietjie winkels toe, sien julle net hierna.
Net hierna, ons leer meer oor die rol van hommeltuie in presisieboerdery. Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Laveld Agrochem. Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Laveld Agrochem. Het jy geweet, daar is 5 groot hernubare energiebronne: sonenergie, geotermiese energie van hitte binne die aarde, windenergie, biomassa-energie van plante, hidroelektriese energie uit vloeiende water. Windkrag is 'n gewilde hernubare energiebron wat 'n kleiner impak op die omgewing het as die verbranding van fossiel brandstowwe. Die eerste moderne windturbine is in die 1940s in Vermont, VSA gebou. Die son se uitseit-energie per sekonde is bykans presies 1 miljoen keer meer as die hele aarde se energieverbruik per jaar. Daar is 2 tipes hommeltuie: militêre en burgerlike hommeltuie. Vir militêre doeleindes word hommeltuie hoofsaaklik vir bewaking gebruik, terwyl burgerlike gebruike oesopnames, fotografie, vervulling, vervoer en aflewering insluit.
Ons verwelkom nou by die ateljee vir Phil en Jacques, 2 kenners in die terrein van hommeltegnologie. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. Thank you. Phil, let's start off with you. Tell us a little bit about your company and what solutions you provide.
Thank you. Our company specializes in 2 main verticals. One is your imaging and sensing technologies, and the other side is the drone technologies, your industrial or commercial working drones. So where we go back is on our imaging side. We started in the thermal imaging environment, predominantly in security and surveillance in thermal imaging, and that expanded to include different verticals of thermal imaging, which includes products such as airborne systems, the thermal cameras we find on our drones. It includes other thermal detection technologies that are used in industrial inspection, condition monitoring, automotive systems, marine systems, even science and R&D technology.
Yeah.
These sensors then started to find their place into airborne systems, and that's when we found our vertical in our drone technologies. And that then again lends itself to about 5 different verticals, of which 3 of them we're very active, being precision agriculture, the farming sectors, the other one being safety and security, which also lends itself to agriculture and farming, and your surveying, mapping, and aerial inspection technologies. So that really sums up our main focus.
Yeah, that's a yellow one for
That's really but that really tickles a question, if say, Jacques, for you, because we obviously represent the agriculture. How do you see the application of drones and drone technology already and maybe going forward?
First of all, the drones are used for crop analysis.
Yep.
It's intended to improve yield, identify problems early, to then prevent massive overcost of the second input the farmer needs to then spend on the crop to address the problem that pops up. And then secondly, security is obviously a massive problem in South Africa, and with the enhanced optics, the tools, the laser range finders and the thermal capabilities of the drones, it really makes the tool very useful for curbing and protecting and ensuring that you don't expose yourself as a farm owner to potential risk. Yeah. But there are definitely some laws and rules and regulations that need to be kept in mind when operating drones.
How important would be the consultations? Because someone sees a drone, he hears about it and just wants to jump in and buy one. But from your point of view and the services you provide, why would you recommend someone first contact you and just do a proper consultation?
Right. A consultation is absolutely necessary. It's not a case of one drone fits all. We have many models and we have various payloads that can be customized for the application. You can also have dual-use drones where you're applying your thermal sensors and optical sensors for security purposes, and then you can retrofit those same drones with our multispectral, hyperspectral sensors for crop analysis. So it is important to understand. It's also important to educate our customers. We're finding a lot of our customers are first-time buyers of drones. So we have to gauge their knowledge with flying these craft, their knowledge of aircraft. You've obviously got the civil aviation regulations that we need our clients to comply with, and the training process that goes with it, the after-sales support, and even the maintenance programs for these drones.
Don't think about it,
It's absolutely essential to understand the operation of the client's farm, to understand their security requirements and try and integrate and find the right custom platforms for them to complete the job successfully.
Jacques, just to follow up on that, how long does it take a farmer to be legally able to apply, and what training does he need?
To fly a drone, you don't really need a license, but if you want to fly it for any kind of commercial application, you need to have an RPL, remote pilot license. That remote pilot license takes a week and a half theory and then a week and a half practical.
Okay.
And then you get examined by a flight examiner from the CAA, and then you get signed off as capable. If you want to fly at night, then there's an additional certification for BVLOS, beyond visual line of sight, and that is also another week or so theory and practical. And essentially the objective of obtaining these certifications is just so people who use drones can understand the complexity of airspace and how to use the drone in airspace safely.
Ja, dat makes sense.
That's really, really important for us.
Vol en Jacques, baie dankie dat julle die kwaliteit inligting met ons gedeel het. Ons waardeer dit opreg.
Baie dankie, tot ziens.
Baie dankie dat julle ingeskakel is. Bly asseblief by ons is nou weer terug.
Net hierna, ons vind meer uit oor solarenergie vir boere. Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Lauveld Agrochem. Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Lauveld Agrochem.
Welkom terug. In die laaste segment van vandag se program oor tegnologie kyk ons na solarenergie. Almal het natuurlik nodig, maar ongelukkig kan almal dit nie bekostig nie.
Die vraag is hoe solarenergie die landboubedryf kan help om elektrisiteitsprobleme die hoof te bied.
Nisboere het by Farmer Solar City gaan aanklop om meer uit te vind.
Farmer City Solar spesialiseer in die installering van off-grid sisteme, hybrid sisteme, asook grid-tie sisteme en dan die installering van sonpompe, watervoorsiening, basies om krag te lewer waar daar nie krag is nie en ook om krag te spaar waar die kragtariewe baie hoog is. Ek dink eerste wat 'n mens moet besef is die verskil tussen 'n boer se kragverbruik en 'n huishoudelike kragverbruik of byvoorbeeld 'n winkelsentrum is. Boere werk nie per uur nie, hulle werk per hektaar. So baie van die boere besproei 24 uur, ander besproei elke 4 ure en dan jy jou bees en jou skaapboere. Waar jou winkelsentrum byvoorbeeld van 8 tot 5 deur die dag waar die son skyn kragbehoefte nodig het wat dit baie makliker maak, so die stoorkapasiteit van die lithium-fosfaatbatterye is baie minder of dan nou geen sissie waar ons moet krag voorsien aan die boer wanneer daar nie son is nie, wat dan veroorsaak dat ons of tot gevolg het dat die stoorkapasiteit in batterygewys soveel groter moet wees. So as 'n mens basies kyk na 100 kW stelsel, wat eintlik maar 'n intreevlak stelsel is vir 'n boerdery. Wat kan 'n mens met 100 kW trek? Wel, met 100 kW op 'n plaas gaan jy byvoorbeeld van jou 3-fase toestelle kan gebruik in 'n stoor. Jy gaan natuurlik die plaashuis asook die huise wat daar aangeheg is van sonkrag voorsien. So dit gaan basies jou monopomp en alles rondom die boerdery bedien. So wanneer mens praat van die onderhouding van sonkragstelsels is dit baie belangrik om 'n dienskontrak met 'n boer te sluit of 'n kliënt. 'n Diens gaan behels dat jy jaarliks uitgaan na hierdie stelsel toe te kyk of die bedrading nog reg is. Ons het faktore waarteen ons werk, wind, weer, water. Ons moet kyk dat al die koneksies vas is. Die lewensduur van 'n sonpaneel is basies, hy's 25 jaar gewaarborg as jy 'n tier 1 sonpaneel koop jou batterye het 'n 10 jaar waarborg, jou lithiumfosfaat batterye. Al jou hardeware, jou omsetters of wisselrigters het 5 jaar waarborg. So die waarborge rondom 'n sonkragstelsel is byvoorbeeld baie langer as enige ander produk, 'n bakkie of 'n kar op hierdie stadium, wat dit eintlik 'n uitstekende 'n belegging maak. So Farmer City Solar op hierdie stadium bedien die hele Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, asook die Vrystaat. Op hierdie stadium beweeg ons nie so ver as Noord-Kaap of Wes-Kaap nie, maar ons het wel kliënte wat ons bedien daar, wat fisies by ons wil koop. En dit is basies die areas wat ons op hierdie stadium bedien. So kom ons gestel, Eskom herstel vir een of ander rede, bonatuurlike rede en alles kom weer tot stand. Die kliënte wat reeds 'n solar ingesit het, gaan definitief 'n voordeel daaruit trek. Die voordeel wat hulle daardeur uit gaan trek is as ons net vat, as ons van 2017 kyk na 2022, die inflasiepresentasie was basies 126%. Maar as jy die presentasieverhoging kyk van ons kragvoorsiener, was dit basies 560%. Wel, wat ons tot gevolg het daar is, dat ons Eskom-verhoging sou nie tred by inflasie nie, wat 'n groot probleem is. Wat sal sonkrag dan 'n voordeel maak? Sonkrag gaan beslis 'n voordeel wees om daardie tarief van jou vas te maak op 'n sekere bedrag, wat dan natuurlik jou 20 jaar termyn van die sonkragstelsel vir jou kragrekening gaan vasmaak vir 'n spesifieke bedrag. So ons kan nooit sê dat die tariewe nie op sal gaan nie. Indien ons kragvoorsiener die netwerk reg kry, sal ons elektrisiteitstariewe al hoe hoër raak. So dis maar die grootste antwoord daarop om die tarief vas te maak.
Ja, dis amper die einde van vandag se program.
Voor ons groet herinner ek almal dat vandag se episode, sowel as al die vorige episodes ook op RAP beskikbaar is.
Dis heeltemal reg. As jy dalk weer na enige van die programme of insetsels wil kyk of selfs met ander wil deel, is dit eintlik heel maklik. So maak mens.
Nisboere is elke week op die kassie, net hier op Via. Maar as 'n weeklikse dosis van Nisboere gewoon nie genoeg is nie, of as jy miskien weer na 'n episode wil kyk en dit selfs met jou vriende en familie wil deel, kan jy. So maak mens. SMS plaas na 32210 en ons stuur vir jou 'n ontvangserkenning SMS sonder verwyl. Klik op die skakel en ontsluit die info-wrap. Vul dan bloot die klein vormpie in, dis super eenvoudig, en stuur weg. Voortaan ontvang jy al ons episodes, plus insiggewende artikels en wenke.
Tot volgende week. Mooi loop en pas julle self op.
Baie dankie dat julle saamgekuier het. Sien julle weer volgende week.
Rig jou op na die berge, jou hulp kom vandaan. Jou toekoms lyk goed, goud soos 'n korenmaan. Hier sal jy boer, dit is jou land, dit is die plank, wat jou hart opmaak, hou net aan glo.
Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Laveld Agrochem. Saam boer ons vooruit.